Hey guys, so before we get started with the video, I just want to let you guys know that this video was actually recorded on the day that this happened. So if you guys can see me that look, down recording this right now, right here on a different day. This is actually 2 days before. Today is actually the 8th. So yeah, this video that I'm going to be showing to you guys is actually on the day that this happened. So yeah, and yeah, I apologize. I wasn't able to go ahead and upload it on that day. I was busy on that day, so I apologize for that. But you know what, it's all good. But yeah, guys, here was the video of me reacting to rioters invading the Capitol. So man, dude, shit's crazy. But you know, let's continue on with the video. Bye, guys. Well, I actually thought 2021 was gonna start off in a great way, but sadly, nope. Apparently, this sort of situation right here couldn't wait, and yeah. So far, we start off the year with a man, dude. To think 2020 wasn't bad enough, and now at the start of 2021 we have this happening. Jesus, man, what the hell? I mean, to let you guys know, for me, I'm not a fan of politics. I don't like talking about it. I actually, don't want to deal with all that stuff, and I'm also not that smart to talk about politics and all that stuff. So don't come with me with answers and all that stuff. But I do know, who the people are that are in the in the White House and all that stuff. Well, actually not really. The only person I know is the president. That's about it, and the vice president. But yeah, man. Jesus, man. That's just crazy, and it's so funny because, man, dude, I remember a couple of days ago I said on my video that, man, dude, I want to start this year off with a bang, and I can't wait to go ahead and do that. And I am doing that too. I mean, that's what I've been doing. I've been, editing my videos so that way I could go ahead and get them out at the end of this week. And while I was editing some of the videos, I saw that there was some news that was happening at the Capitol. And when I saw some videos, I was like, oh shit, what the hell? And I had to go ahead and see some videos of what was happening and other people's reactions, and wow, dude, crazy. And for the people who don't know what the heck has happened, apparently some pro Trump protesters actually went into the Capitol building. So yeah, that happened. And apparently this is not the first time that this has happened. Apparently there was somebody that actually went into the Capitol building and he tried to do something. I don't know. He brought in a gun and started shooting or something. I don't know. But this is not like the first time that the Capitol building has actually been attacked by somebody. But this right here is a lot different. The last one was actually one person. This, on the other hand, is a bunch of people. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys some some videos that I actually picked. I actually picked 3 different videos. I picked 2 that comes to 2 different news stations, and also 1 that you get to see the people that are inside of the Capitol building, and that's when they start getting the notice of that stuff. So but anyways, let's not waste any more time. Let's get this shit started. And yeah, man, what a great way to start off 2021. It's crazy.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn in the past few hours, as thousands of supporters of President Trump stormed the US Capitol building, venting their anger at the victory of Joe Biden in the presidential election. They forced the evacuation and lockdown of Congress itself, where lawmakers were all set to approve the election result. Shortly before the clashes, President Trump had addressed his supporters near the White House, telling them that he would never accept defeat. Within the past hour, President-elect Biden called on Mr. Trump to tell his people
sometimes
to go
you win,
home,
sometimes you
minutes,
lose.
That was indeed the message delivered from the White House. We'll be live on Capitol Hill shortly. First, we'll have this report by our North America editor, John Sopel.
I mean, look at this dude, Jesus Christ.
The cornerstone of American democracy, seemed a highly abstract concept today. As Trump supporters clashed with police as they tried and succeeded to storm the Congress, where America's elected leaders had gathered to certify the election victory of Joe Biden.
If you guys think this is bad, wait until you see the other videos.
In a rally outside the White House, Donald Trump encouraged his loyal base to fight to overturn the result of this bitterly contested election.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
Many of his supporters needing little encouragement to join the fight.
We're here to support, you know, if violence happens, like it happens, but we're not going to start it. You know, we're just like here to defend ourselves. Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
I'm a Mexican immigrant. I support Trump. Freedom is paid for with blood, and tyranny always masquerades itself as safety and security, and that's what we're fighting against right now.
Outside the Capitol, the outer ring of security had been breached. The crowds had taken Donald Trump at his word, and they were taking the fight to the heart of American democracy.
They broke through the window, dude. That's crazy, man.
And then some Trump supporters managed to get inside. They were armed and wandering the
You know, I'm actually surprised none of these guys didn't start breaking anything that's inside. They just all walked, you know, inside, but not right now. I mean, look at this right now.
These pictures appear to show a woman protester being shot inside the Capitol building.
Yeah, somebody got shot too.
A stretcher was sent in. She was later given CPR. A protester breached the inner sanctum of the chamber. The vice president had to be removed to safety by his Secret Service detail. And then the joint session was adjourned. Earlier, the Republican Senate leader, for so long,
I can't wait to show you guys the video on this one. This will be last.
With this withering assessment.
This election were overturned by mere allegations from the losing side, our democracy would enter a death spiral. We'd never see the whole nation accept an election again. Every 4 years would be a scramble for power at any cost.
And the vice president, who's officiating over this joint session and has shown Donald Trump near slavish loyalty, also said it was not his role to overturn the verdict of the people. My oath to support and defend the Constitution constrains me from claiming unilateral authority to decide.
You see that Mike Pence is actually turning on Donald Trump for what he did.
The presidency belongs to the people and to them alone. And the president-elect has gone on television to warn that American democracy is under unprecedented assault, and he made this appeal.
I call on President Trump to go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege, to storm the Capitol, to smash windows, to occupy offices, the floor of the United States Senate, rummaging through desks, on the Capitol, on the House of Representatives, threatening the safety of duly elected officials. It's not protest. It's insurrection.
Donald Trump has spoken. He called on his supporters to stand down, but condemnation, there was none.
This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special.
The chamber has emptied. Democracy put on hold. Outside, they were
look at this, man.
The
Jesus
in
Christ.
charge, believing they have the right to overthrow the will of the people. Tonight, the shining city on the hill, as America likes
They're actually
to describe
climbing up the
itself,
walls.
feels as though the light of democracy is flickering dangerously.
And look at the use of the railings to climb up the walls. That's crazy, man.
John's report there. We'll be talking to him in a short while, but these are the images now in Washington, D.C. tonight. The president's message.
Did you think that this shit happened today?
People to go home. Some people have, but as we can see, there are plenty of people still around the Capitol Hill, still wanting to make their protests heard, still wanting to urge members of Congress not to ratify the election result. That's despite, by the way, Republican leaders on Capitol Hill saying that this protest is wrong. So those are the live images. What I'd like to do now is bring in two colleagues, one of them who's outside Capitol Hill there, Ali Makboul, and one inside who's Lebo Di Secco. We'll come to Lebo in a second. But Alim, first of all, could you bring us up to date? What's happening there, and have the police drafted in more help by now?
Well, there was a lull for an hour or so. There were hundreds of
I
protesters.
like how every time when
up the steps
when somebody talks to the reporter outside, it takes a couple of seconds before they get the feed.
Just as you were watching that report, in the last few minutes, the police finally started to use sound bombs and some form of tear gas, and you might be able to make out that they've cleared one level of the steps outside the Capitol building. Still lots of people still here. I was trying to get a sense through speaking to several of the people who stormed the building earlier whether this was something that was planned, and actually they said they were inspired by the words of the president who spoke earlier in the day to take back their country, and so they marched down here, but they saw that there was so little security. They said they felt it was easy to overwhelm that security.
And this whole thing started because President Trump was pissed off that he didn't win the election, and in revenge he told his, the people that support him to go ahead and attack the Capitol building because he was pissed off that he didn't get to win the election.
In a bid to do what the man.
Yeah, I know a lot of people say that the election is rigged and all that stuff, but sometimes it's kind of like you going into like a game, like a sports game or something like that, or anything that's like any competition. There are winners and there are losers. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You just have to deal with it.
What you made of the scenes we saw earlier on?
I mean, there was some stuff in my life that I've won and sometimes I've lost. But I always I keep going, but especially video games.
We've been on lockdown here in these Capitol buildings for almost 4 hours now. Many of the people that I'm with actually work in these buildings. They work in the House of Representatives. I was speaking to a couple of women who have been watching these scenes playing out on the TV. They actually work here, saying to me that they were shocked at the level of disrespect for the democratic institutions of this country, seeing people with their feet up on the table of members of the House's desks. They're not even allowed to touch the desks on the floor. They saw them strewn around and treated with utmost disrespect, they said. I also spoke to a gentleman who works for a member of the House of Representatives. I asked him how he felt that now that Donald Trump has told his supporters to go home, he said it's too little, too late. He called this an assault on the democratic institutions of this country. So, I mean, the general feeling here has gone from palpable shock to stunned disbelief, really, Hugh.
Lebo, many thanks once again, and for the latest there on the scene for us inside the Capitol. In another part of DC, Washington DC, we have John Sopel, our North America editor, whose report we saw earlier on. John, can we start first of all with the real significance of the scenes that we've been witnessing today in Washington DC? It was insurrection, according to Joe Biden. What else have people been telling you?
I think people are stunned, shocked, amazed. Clearly the security services have got some pretty tough questions to answer about why they weren't readier for what happened and what unfolded. And I think there is just this palpable sense of disbelief that America, which likes to lecture the rest of the world on how to be a good democratic society, is seeing its own shining beacon kind of looking rather tattered by what has unfolded today. And I think the politicians have got to ask themselves some pretty tough questions about whether they have contributed to this. Donald Trump saying, on the one hand, look, we love you, to the protesters, you're very special, but saying they've got to obey law and order. Well, Donald Trump at the same time is saying, no, we're not going to obey the laws that have been litigated. This has been to the courts 62 times, and they have found no evidence of fraud in this election.
It's 2 weeks just about to Inauguration Day, John, and that's the time clearly when Donald Trump is leaving office. against his will, we know, but leaving office at that point. When he told his protesters in that clip we saw earlier to go home, would that for you be the moment where he kind of signalled that he knew that this protest is up?
Well, that is what I think is the central contradiction of the Donald Trump message, which is you can't say we believe in law and order and we're asking you to fight and stay strong, which is what he said in his speech outside the White House earlier on today to all those supporters. And I was very struck by just how totally 100% those tens of thousands of people believe that the election was stolen, that Joe Biden is a Chinese puppet of the Communist Party, that the fraud has gone on a massive scale. These people have been told that, fed that on a diet for weeks. Now telling them to go home may be a little bit late in the day for that sort of change in behaviour.
John, we'll have another word in a short while. Thank you very much. John Sokol there, our North America editor, with the latest in Washington.
Well, that right there is the first video. I have another one here. I just need to find it where it was. Oh yeah, here's the other one. But hold on a second. Let me okay, there we go. Man, dude, just so freaking crazy, man, about what's happened. Right there, we got to see a bunch of people right there at the Capitol building, and how this whole thing started. Like I said at the beginning, Donald Trump was mad, so before he leaves office, he goes ahead and tells his protesters, you know, before I leave office, I want you guys to go ahead and do an attack at the Capitol building before I leave. And so what? They did. And then he decides to go ahead and tell his protesters to everybody go home. But apparently it's a little bit too late for that, because he already told them all this stuff. And yeah, look what's happened. You know, if you're going to go ahead and do an apology and say to everybody to go home, maybe not a good idea to go ahead and start that in the first place. I mean, you know, but you know, what can you do, man? I mean, like I said, there were winners and there were losers, and sometimes you have to take a win, and sometimes you have to take a loss. That's just how it is. I mean, what can you do? I mean, even the greatest athletes, you can see some of the greatest athletes or some of the greatest people that we know that are big have won, and they have also lost too. But you know, though, they still kept going. That didn't stop them. But you know, like I said, there are some people that can't deal with loss. They can't deal with it, and I've seen that. Not only in, you know, through, you know, a bunch of stuff that's happened, you know, in our world, through TV, through, you know, sports and all that stuff. You know, I've seen some people that don't like, you know, don't like to be losers and all that stuff. I've seen it in some videos that have been posted on YouTube of people, you know, freaking out and all that stuff, of losing some situations and all that stuff. Also in the gaming community, I can tell you that when people play video games, man, they, especially when they are competitors, they take that shit seriously. And when they don't get their way, they either go ahead and say some nasty shit, break something, or go ahead and do something really drastic. And you get, guys, I'm not lying. If you go ahead and go on YouTube, type in video game rage, freakouts, right there you see a bunch of people freaking out because they were so competitive, and once they get mad and get to that boiling point, they go ahead and start breaking their computers, breaking their controllers, breaking their mics, breaking anything that's next to them. And I know that's how it is. Luckily for me, I get mad, but for me, I learned how to control my anger. And do you think I'm really that stupid to go ahead and break something that I spend money on? Do you guys want to know how much I spend on this laptop that I have right here? It's an Alienware laptop. I got this stuff. I got this. Well, I have a bunch of stuff too, but I got this laptop. What was it, like in 2015? Yeah, 2015. I got this 5 years ago. And you know how much this shit costs? This shit costs $2,000. Do you think I'm that stupid? If I get mad at a game, I'm gonna go ahead and punch my $2,000 laptop? No! That's money right there! Also, I have a mic right here that I spent $120 on it. I have a TV that I spent $80 on it. I have 2 cameras right here that I spent $60 on. Actually, one of them is $80. And one of them is $60. So, in total, that's like $140. I'm not that stupid to go ahead and break something that I spend money on. If I do that, I'm a piece of shit. But, you know, people sometimes can't control their anger and they go ahead and do what they need to do. So, yeah. Luckily for me, I'm not one of those people. So, I'm all good. But, yeah, guys. Man, dude. 2021 is not going so good. But, yeah, but let's go ahead and continue on and watching this other video that I found. And after that, we're going to go ahead and watch the last and final video. And that is, you know, everybody that's in the Capitol building. And once they get the notice of what's happening, you get to see the reactions and all that stuff. So, yeah, so, wow. This video might be long. So, yeah, we're already going into 20 minutes. But, you know what, this is important, man. Because this shit is like this shit is real. This shit happened a couple hours ago. It's, man, it's crazy, man. But, yeah, let's get started with this next video.
USA! 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 USA!
Dude, we have a Viking dude here.
But nothing quite like this.
Look at the cops are actually shooting them. This is fun.
Trying to break through their lines. Intoxicated by the unlikely prospect of reversing America's election outcome. We watched as the standoff continued for at least an hour. Tear gas canisters were fired from the very stage on which Joe Biden will be inaugurated.
God damn, dude. Oh shit! They're fighting.
This was a losing
there you go.
battle.
This is exactly what was feared, but in no way is this a surprise. It has been fueled by the president's rhetoric, and it's increasingly clear this election has not healed the wounds. It has simply amplified them.
This guy.
We followed the aggrieved and infuriated Trump supporters as they stormed the building.
Why does it a little bit remind me of The Division? I don't know why.
Through broken windows and doors they had forced open.
Crazy. Look at the break the window.
For a few heady moments they felt they had won a precious victory.
Jesus Christ, man.
They were now in the very heart of the congressional building.
What's the purpose of storming Congress itself?
Because they work for us. They don't get to steal it from us. They don't get to tell us we didn't see what we saw.
We respect the law. We were good people. The government did this to us. We were normal, good, law-abiding citizens, and you guys did this to us. We want our country back. We are protesting for our freedom right now. That's the difference.
What's the purpose of storming Congress?
How I know that?
He just walks off. Okay.
They reached and entered the Speaker's office itself. Although Nancy Pelosi and other lawmakers had already been evacuated to safety.
Here you go. Here you go, brother.
As we filmed, protesters tore down Pelosi's nameplate.
And so here we are right now inside the halls of Congress. This is exactly what so many anticipated, and yet the Capitol Hill police are doing their best, but failing to control the situation.
We all know that they changed the rules mid-game, and they're not being held accountable, and that's a shame.
What's your message to the Capitol Hill police and to lawmakers here?
This is our country. This is our house. That's it. This is our house. This is our country. This is our country.
Inside the chamber itself, there was chaos. Agents hastily blocking the doors with furniture to keep the protesters out. Officers ready to open fire as a last resort. In the galleries, people took shelter. The great constitutional showdown in Congress had to be suspended.
Madam Speaker and members of Congress, pursuant to the Constitution and the laws of the United States.
A little earlier, the passions and America's political schism were on display as Trump loyalists acted to stop the certification.
I rise for myself and 60 of my colleagues to object to the counting of the electoral ballots from Arizona.
But I would urge to both sides perhaps a bit less certitude and a bit more recognition that we are gathered at a time when democracy is in crisis.
But the plea to suspend certification of the election was fiercely contested by the leader of the Senate, who broke definitively with Trump.
This election were overturned by mere allegations from the losing side, our democracy would enter a death spiral. We'd never see the whole nation accept an election again.
100 miles away in Delaware, President-elect Joe Biden pleaded for the intervention of the one man who could halt this.
I call on President Trump to go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege, to storm the Capitol, to smash windows, to occupy offices, the floor of the United States Senate, rummaging through desks, on the Capitol, on the House of Representatives, threatening the safety of duly elected officials. It's not protest, it's insurrection.
Indeed, amid the
now I know we'll be watching some of the footages, guys, but you know this is a part of the video, so you know.
The circumstances are not clear, but it is proof of how perilous it remains here tonight. This morning, the president spoke to the crowd in front of the White House, repeating his false claim that the election was stolen.
All of us here today do not want to see our election victory stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing, and stolen by the fake news media. That's what they've done and what they're doing. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved.
The cost of that rhetoric is increasingly clear. As crowds tonight are still swirling around Congress.
Why does nobody have a stun gun? I just realized that.
Is a stable democracy
why is nobody shooting them with tasers or something? Crazy. Really crazy. And the next one, last and final video is where is it? Oh, here it is.
In Arizona, as my attachments make clear, mail-in ballots will be altered on the first day of counting, as shown in data graphs we provide.
This right here is when they start getting the notice of what's happening. When the protesters start, you know, invading the Capitol.
Vice President Biden, or completely erased from President Trump's totals. The proof is in the counting curves, the curves that cannot occur except with odds so rare and unlikely that winning the Mega Millions lottery is more probable. Mr. Speaker, can I have order in the chamber?
The House will be in order.
See? Everybody's starting to notice what's happening.
The House will be in order. Okay. The House will be in order. House will be in order.
Apologize if the audio was called off. That's on their side.
Members will take their seats. The House will be in order. Okay.
Secret Service.
Okay. We can get order. We can resume.
Also, I forgot to mention, if you guys can't hear like what's going on in the background of the stuff, I'll turn up the volume on this part. Also, apologize for the audio coming off. That's on their side. So, yeah. So then, you know, it's not me. It's the video. I think maybe it's, you know...
Without objection, the chair declares the House in recess pursuant to Clause 12B of Rule 1.
So, oh my. Well, guys, that right there is it. That is, yeah, that's the video right there. You see it? A lot of people protesting about, you know, the election, all that stuff. Yeah, man. Crazy, dude. What can you do, man? I mean, in this world, yeah, you have to have crazy people, of course. Man, dude. Not a great way to start off the year. Not a great way to start off the year. Couldn't this happen like in the middle of this year? I mean, seriously, why right now? Why, dude? Why? Oh, man, dude. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I can't wait to hear what other people say about this, because I've only seen some people react to this, and I've heard their thoughts about it. But man, I can't wait to go ahead and see what happens tomorrow and see what other people's reaction to this. Because man, dude, so you guys know, like I said, for me, I was working. So I didn't know anything about this until I got home and when I was editing my videos. And when I heard about this, I was like, Jesus Christ, what the hell? And so I had to go ahead and make a video to you guys. If you guys don't know anything about this that's happening, you should, because it's all around the news. But yeah, guys, like I said, be safe out there. Man, dude, Jesus, man, if we thought 2020 was a shit year, well, I couldn't say like a shit year. I mean, there was some stuff that was good, but 2020 wasn't actually a good year. But now I'm speculating what 2021 is going to be after seeing this. Maybe this is just one of those, scenarios that, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way, so the rest of the year will be, a lot better. So I think that's, maybe that right there might be one of the scenarios. I mean, start this shit, get it out of the way, so that way the rest of the year will be nice and good, all that stuff. Maybe, I don't know. You guys tell me about that. Give me your thoughts, guys. Give me your thoughts on all this stuff, because I know there are some people here that talk about politics a lot. And like I said in the beginning of the video, guys, for me, I don't like politics. I don't like to deal with it and all that stuff. Yes, it's part of my life, because I'm gonna be doing some stuff with politics, all that stuff. When I have a house of my own, all that stuff, and a bunch of other things that have to do with politics and all that stuff. But for me, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like dealing with it, but I know there are some people that like to talk about it and all that stuff. So give me you guys' thoughts on all this stuff, and like I said, guys, stay safe out there. Don't get into any situations like this, and just be careful. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much, and stay too cool, guys. Bye.